5897, or you tweet at eco_897FM. Of course, we're on live on Facebook, eco.ecofm. The very first newspaper, The Nation. Front page has this: Nigeria launches battle to quash $9.6 billion verdict in the UK. The story here says a spirited assault to set aside the $9.6 billion arbitration judgment against Nigeria has been launched by the federal government. A government high-powered team is in London ahead of Thursday's court session in the matter against Process and Industrial Development (PNID). Besides, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), which secured a conviction and forfeiture order against PNID Nigeria, an affiliate, has filed charges against two firms linked to PNID. The anti-graft agency is also set to put James Nolan, an associate of the owner of PNID, the late Michael Quinn, on trial. Of course, you can continue with the story on page 8 of the paper. Nigeria launches battle to quash $9.6 billion verdict in UK. Of course, that's from the Nation newspaper front page.
All right, Blueprint front page screams Emir to poor needy Nigerians: don't practice polygamy. Rider, no bandits camp in my emirate. The Emir of Anka in Zamfara State, Tahiru Ahmed, has cautioned low-income earners on marrying more than one wife. Ahmed, who gave the caution on Sunday in Anka, said polygamy was worsening the economic situation of the poor and making them even poorer. He said this during the distribution of some women empowerment items donated by Ajia Aisha Bello Matawali, wife of the governor. The items were distributed to women from Anka, Bakura, Bukuyum, Gumi, Mardun, and Talata Mafarawa local government areas in Zamfara West Senatorial District. He said civil servants on a salary of 15,000 naira a month marry more than one wife and end up raising families they cannot cater for. It is this attitude that is responsible for increasing out-of-school children, because the parents cannot show that responsibility. People should marry in accordance with their earnings to ensure that their children have sound education and good moral background. The civil servant of 15,000 naira having more than one wife? Oh my goodness.
I can't imagine.
Oh, little wonder the poor are getting poorer. I know a young man, barely in his 30s, he has 3 children. He's from up north. Like, he just sells all these normal biscuits and all of that. He has 3 children.
Cannot even fend for himself.
He works in Lagos. He goes back home to farm. His 3 wives are there. 3 wives, barely in his 30s.
Oh my. So what will happen to those children? Being raised by such mothers?
No. Something has to be done.
Okay, so we're happy that that's coming from that protest.
Yes.
Workers now getting 30,000 wage, says Ngige. Where is this story coming from? Okay, the Nation newspaper front page. Junior workers in the employment of the federal government have started receiving the 30,000 naira minimum wage. Minister of Labour Chris Ngige said at the weekend. Ngige, who spoke in Enugu, said the payment to levels 1 to 6 commenced last month. His claim was corroborated by the national president of the Nigeria Civil Service Union (NCSU) and a member of the Joint Public Service Negotiating Council, Mr. Lawrence Amechi. According to Amechi, the junior workers received a new wage as their August salary. Workers now getting 30,000 naira wage, says Ngige. It looks more like, the government is trying to break the ranks.
Why are you reading my mind?
Of course, because if the negotiation is still on,
and you paid some percentage of the workers.
So what exactly?
You've broken the ranks already.
Breaking the ranks.
So if you want to go on strike,
me,
if I've collected my minimum wage, if you like, go on strike.
So
that's what it means.
Yes.
Oh my.
Okay.
Very interesting times in our dear nation. Boko Haram, EFCC, ICPC urged to probe unfriendly NGOs. A group Public Accountability Network, PAN, has urged the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission (ICPC) to investigate the activities of certain non-governmental organizations, NGOs, that are covertly undermining the country's fight against terror. The group also appealed to the anti-graft agencies to probe the funding sources of NGOs in the Northeast. It made a call at a press conference through its executive director, Mark Daniel Atawadi, on Sunday in Abuja. The group stated that call became imperative after several cautions from the Theater Command Operation Lafia Dole (TCOPLD). The Nigerian Army declared persona non grata for aiding Boko Haram terrorist Islamic State West Africa. Boko Haram, EFCC, ICPC urged to probe unfriendly NGOs. All right, even that's very interesting. It's a story that you must read on page 6 of Blueprint.
Of course, page 6 of the Nation newspaper. 10 held in Lagos called clash. It was a weekend of horror. Suspected cultists. Lamidi, 29, was Saturday night stabbed to death after rival groups clashed at Chukuma Hotel in Babashola Street, Itire, Lagos. The hotel and some vehicles parked around it were also set ablaze, and the fight that started around 10:50 p.m. It was guarded. The violence erupted after an altercation between rival court groups in the hotel, which led to owner's son stabbing Lamidi in the neck. Lamidi, resident of Borishade Street, was said to have died at the hospital. He was rushed to a development that provoked his colleagues. Although immediate cause of the altercation was unknown, the Nation reports that a year court groups have been embroiled in age-long rivalry that has been claiming many lives across the states. 10 held in Lagos called clash. That's on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. Just as this one says, Lagos reassures residents of persistent rainfall. Lagos State government has reassured residents that measures are already in place to address the challenges posed by incessant rainfall. Lagosians have been witnessing heavy downpours in the last few days. Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Mr. Tunji Bello, who inspected some of the major drainage systems, said residents should rest assured that irrespective of the volume of rainfall, it will flow through the rains to discharge into various channels. The Commissioner warned against indiscriminate dumping of refuse in the drains, as well as erecting structures on drainages, lines, and alignment. This, is said, could aggravate flooding. He reminded the people of the executive order signed by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on zero tolerance for indiscriminate dumping of refuse. According to him, while relevant agencies are on red alert for any unforeseen incident, residents must be vigilant and promptly report cases of indiscriminate dumping of refuse into drainage channels and unauthorized places, as well as other incidents of drainage blockage to relevant authorities. Lagos reassures residents of persistent rainfall. Page 6 of the Nation.
All right, don't give up on Nigeria. Cleric advises Nigerians. A clergyman, Reverend Father Fidelis Izuako, has urged Nigerians to be firm in prayers and not give up, as there is still hope for greatness in the country. Izuako made a call on Sunday during his sermon at St. Gabriel's Catholic Church, Okuno, in Awka, Anambra State. He said the greatness of the country will manifest when Nigerians remain resolute in the love of God and the nation and work towards building it. Don't give up on Nigeria. Cleric advises Nigerians on page 6 of Blueprint newspaper.
Greening law defaulters to pay 250,000 naira. The General Manager, Lagos State Parks and Gardens Agency, LASPAC, Mrs. Bilikis Adebisi Abiola, has restated the resolution of the state government to enforce total compliance with the greening provision across the state. Bilikis said anyone who fails to comply with the green law will be charged a sum of 250,000 naira. Addressing the media while the agency during enforcement operations at Ikeja, Oniru in Victoria Island, Lekki Phase 1, and Ikonyi environs, the General Manager declared that the pronounced disregard towards greening requirements by private establishments and other property owners across the state is negating government's efforts to mitigate the effects of climate change. are resolved to enforce the law against recalcitrant corporate institutions and property owners who have refused to comply with the state's provision on beautification of setbacks is in line with government's quest to improve the green cover in the state, she added. Greening law defaulters to pay 250,000 naira. That's on page 6 of the Nation.
All right, the Daily Times is next. A front page story. Nigeria's company income tax amongst highest in the world. Oyedele writer says it is disincentive for business growth. Nigeria has one of the highest company income tax rate globally, which is a disincentive for business growth. Tax leader PwC Nigeria, Taiwo Oyedele, has said. Oyedele disclosed this at the weekend when speaking at the Finance Correspondent Association of Nigeria FICAN annual workshop themed Unlocking Opportunities in Nigeria's non-oil sector. According to Oyedele, Nigeria is in the top 10 in the world for the highest income tax rate. Nigeria's company income tax amongst highest in the world. Oyedele, and he says it is a disincentive for business growth. What is your take? You can also join us on the socials. Echo.EchoFM. We're live on Facebook and Instagram at Echo897FM. On Twitter at Echo_897FM. Send WhatsApp messages to 0805 897 5897. Again, WhatsApp messages to 0805 897 5897.